procedure to make a mirror, or which chemical formula is used to make a mirror. So you should be able to speak like you do with your friends in your native language. That's all what the IELTS need. And therefore, you shouldn't be scared about talking about any topic that's not familiar to you, because it's not a knowledge specific criteria. You can say anything ordinary, anything, but you should know how to converse, how to get your point across. Okay. So when you get an unfamiliar topic, like there were some people in the previous meeting who couldn't answer to some questions because the questions were not familiar to them, or maybe they didn't have any, I would say, any experience of doing that particular thing. So what can a person do when he may come across this kind of topic that's not in his experience, or maybe he's not familiar with? So first thing that you can do is you can be open and honest. So when you get a topic and you don't know anything about it, you can say, I am not familiar with the topic, and therefore if you could change the topic or ask me something and anything. Like when you're telling the examiner that you don't know about the topic and you're not familiar, what you're doing here, you're communicating, you're conversing, you're telling the examiner. So that is also considered communication. So when we speak in Urdu, when we talk to each other or converse with each other, what do? There are some topics in Urdu that we don't know. So what we do is we just say in Urdu that I am not familiar with the topic. Do ask me anything else. So what you do is you communicate. So do not go numb. Do not just stay quiet or feel pressurized or nervous that you don't know anything. Just communicate in a proper way, in a more confident way that examiner knows, okay, if you come across a situation where you're not familiar with the topic, you can converse, you can communicate, and you can tell your idea and that you don't know about it. So this is one of the things that you can do when you come across this kind of topic. So okay, so when you do that, like I comes, for example, examiner asked me about glasses. Do you wear polarized glasses? And here I am, and I don't know the don't know anything about polarized sunglasses. So what can I say to the examiner is that, yeah, I wear sunglasses, but I'm not familiar with this type of glasses. Like you said, polarized glasses. They can be a special kind of glasses, but I'm not familiar. If you could ask me anything else, or maybe if you could change the topic, then I'll be able to produce a good answer. Maybe I will be able to communicate in a better way. So, what I did here is I have demonstrated my pronunciation. Examiner got the answer. Examiner understood what I tried to say clearly, and my grammar was there when I was telling I don't know about the topic and I'm not familiar. And when I was saying that, I was using some vocabulary to demonstrate it, to say, no, I'm not familiar. I was saying it with the help of some vocabulary. And when I was communicating my answer, when I was conversing, I had the fluency skills. I was saying the answer with fluency. I was not somebody who was under pressure. I was not nervous at all, or maybe I wasn't I didn't have any hesitation. I just gave the answer with full confidence and fluency, saying that I'm not familiar. Maybe can you change the topic, or maybe can you I can talk about the glasses at length, like where we use it, how we use it, and how often do we use it, and in what weather we usually use the glasses. So when you can communicate your stance to the examiner, whether it is yes or no, either you're familiar or not, what you're doing is you are demonstrating your skills. That's what examiner wants. So when you can speak at length by about anything, whether you're familiar or not. You're just telling the examiner what is the range of your vocabulary and what is the range of your grammar, your structure, your fluency, your coherency, whether you were hesitant or not. So, this is one of the ways that you can tackle with this situation. The other thing is make a story. There are situations where you can make a story, and there are other situations where you cannot make a story. Like for example, I just demonstrated an example about polarized sunglasses. So I don't know anything about polarized sunglasses. I cannot make a story about it. You see, we can make story about the things that are different from this. Like, examiner may ask me, describe a place, a crowded place where you visited last time. You should say where it was and blah blah blah. You see, there is a difference between two questions. First question was object oriented question. The object was polarized sunglasses. And about polarized sunglasses, I can make a story, but it will be difficult to make a story. However, if the examiner asks me about an experience in a crowded place, then I can lie. Yeah. For example, like me, I have never been to a crowded place, but in this case, I can lie and I can make a story, which is perfectly fine because IELTS exam is not a lie detector test. You can say anything. It can be the boring or the average story, but what matters is that how you communicate your story, how you tell your story. That's what matters. So there are two situations. One situation when you are like you cannot make a story, you feel like I cannot lie here, or maybe making a story would be difficult, then you can just communicate and be open and tell the examiner. Being honest will be, you can say that honestly, I have never thought about it, or maybe I have never read about polarized sunglasses. So, if you could change the topic or maybe ask me anything other than that, I will be able to communicate. So, in this way, what you will do is you will be telling the examiner that you have got the skills to communicate your stance. The next is I was talking about making a story. Yeah, so what you can do is you can just make a story that can be a lie. So for that purpose, you should have some storytelling techniques. I will dive into this more in the next few minutes, and I will tell you how you can make a story which is good, attractive, and which will help you to complete 2 minutes easily. So we will dive into this more in couple of minutes. First, let's see, if you're uncomfortable with the idea of lying, you can always speculate about other people's experience of your given topic. Maybe if you're not comfortable with lying, like I said, the examiner may ask me the question, explain the place, or maybe explain how you a crowded place where you have been and you don't know how to say it, or maybe you cannot lie. What you can do is you can say, I am an introverted person and I have never been to a crowded place, but I remember one of my sisters went to a crowded place, which was a concert. And then you go on and on. You tell the story of your sister who went to a crowded place, and then you explain what happened there, and you go on. This way, you can also speak for 2 minutes, although it wasn't you who went to the concert to a crowded place, but you can explain there was another person related to you who went to a crowded place, and therefore, what will happen is you will be able to communicate your skills, which is grammar, fluency, vocabulary, and pronunciation. That's what matters. It doesn't matter whether the story is about you or about another person, or maybe you're not telling a story, or you're just you're taking excuse from the examiner that I don't know about it. So either way, what you're doing is you are communicating your stance. You're telling the examiner the range of your vocabulary, your ideas, your fluency, and how you communicate. Okay, next is are speaking formal or informal. This is really important because when I talk about our country, we're not used to speaking in English. We don't do it at all. And what we usually do is we write English essays that are formal, formally written. We use the formal way to write essay, maybe letters, stories, or emails. And therefore, what happens is we're just used to of using those formal phrases like in addition to this, moreover, like I use therefore a lot instead of saying so. However, so looks like more conversational. It's because we are not used to of doing it. We just wrote essays in our classes when we were in our BS or maybe in intermediate or 10th class. We didn't speak in English. We used to communicate by writing, and writing was almost formal. So therefore, what we do is we usually speak in a formal way. However, the IELTS speaking is considered informal. You should be speaking to the examiner or maybe conversing with the examiner in an informal way. Do not try to use the phrases or maybe the words which are really formal. Okay. So, but you should make sure that don't use slangs or maybe too much idioms in your sentences that look too much informal. Just there should be a balance. Don't get too much informal or formal. So, announced speech will help you get really good bands. Announced speech mean you're telling the examiner at a conversational pace, but still you're not losing it. Means you're not saying the words which are usually informal. I mean, like there are words that we shouldn't use. I'm talking about the words that we use in English slang, which are not good enough to speak in front of examiner. So try to make a balance between formal and informal speech. Okay, so yeah, a band 5 answers may overuse certain connectors and discourse makers. Okay, we use connectors like however, in addition to this, moreover, although. If we overuse them or if we bombard these connectors in our speech, what will happen is you will end up getting band 5 because IELTS speaking test is totally informal in a balanced way. You cannot bombard your speech with connectors. So if a person who uses it or maybe overuses it, the formal phrases, what happens is that he cannot get really good bands or maybe above 5 bands. So be very careful when using connectors because we heard Ma'am Malaika last time. She advised us to use connectors. That is very good, but they should be formal. We should use connectors. I'm not saying we should remove connector or just speak plainly. We should use correct connectors, but they should be formal, informal. Like they should show a conversation like we're having a conversation with a friend. It shouldn't look like a monologue or maybe a speech or maybe monotonic or maybe robotic. So try to speak like you do in your formal language with a friend. Okay, so next I have just gathered some. Can you see this because it's kind of, is that visible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay, okay, okay. So on the left hand side, I have written some connectors which are considered formal, and on the left hand side, I have written some uh, informal. Okay. It is said that we usually use in our essays. It is said that, which is quite formal, and we shouldn't be using it in our conversation. We can say that people say that maybe if I'm going to tell a phrase or maybe an idiom, and I can say that it is said that the grass looks always greener on the other side. So when I started with this, it is said that it sounds formal. If I could say it like this, I can say it like this. People usually say that grass looks greener from the other side. So by just changing a little initial phrase you or connector, you can make your speech look more natural, more conversational. Or yeah, we usually say this in our essays. It is agreed that. It's also not a good way of doing that. Do not I agree. You cannot say if the examiner asks you, the population is increasing day by day, and he asks you whether you agree or not. You cannot say it like this. It is agreed. No, it sounds very formal. What you can do is you can say it like this. I agree with your stance. Or maybe you can say absolutely. Or maybe you can say 100%. So this is a better way to give your stance, your opinion. It is necessary for me to, or maybe I have got to, or in my opinion, I think, yeah. When you write an essay, like we do in part two or maybe task two in writing, we write this in my opinion, but when you have to speak, then you should say I think. Don't say in my opinion. If you can say it once in my opinion, but don't bombard your speech with in my opinion. You can say that I believe, I think, according to me, or maybe like this. Okay, in my view, or I guess. I guess is usually used when we are not actually 100% clear about an idea, or maybe we just want, like I can say that maybe or maybe not. If you're just guessing and you're not 100% sure about an idea, you can say that I guess. So it looks more conversational than saying this in my view. Okay. Words, yeah, we use it in our um, essay writing, but we cannot use it in our speaking. It's better to say while. Moreover, as I said earlier, moreover, I use this connector a lot while writing, but I shouldn't use it while speaking. I can say that as well as that. In addition, what's more, if you people are practicing your listening, I guess you people know that when in part 4 there is a monologue where a person is giving a speech about a thing, and he usually say this what's more. He or she usually say this when the person is trying to add an idea or maybe an opinion or maybe add more information. The person usually say this what's more. Instead of saying this in addition, you should say this what's more. What's more looks conversational, and in addition looks very formal, that you can do write in your essay. Okay. The next is in addition. Okay, that's done. In consequence, you can use so, so and so. But yeah, I am going to use so from now on because I use therefore a lot, which sounds very formal. Mm, yeah, we use firstly, and if you wanna say this in a conversational way, you can do that by saying this like this to begin with. Thereafter is it's very formal. You can say it after that. However, still, and there is a total range of the words that you should be using while conversing to the examiner. I will share this in our Slack channel, and there you will be able to get this list. And yeah, try to omit these formal words or connectors and try to use these words which are very not very informal but formal informal to some extent. That sounds very conversational. Okay, so that was it. Wait. Okay, do you have any question, anybody? I guess nobody has any other question. Okay, so I have just told you people, if you get an unfamiliar topic, how you can tackle the topic, how you can tell the examiner whether you know about the topic or not, or maybe you're familiar or not, or how you can make a story. So I'm going to dive in more how you can make a story if you come across a topic which is not familiar to you. So, first of all, what you should do is try to add some context. For example, like I was talking about the place or maybe a crowded place where I have been. So, in this scenario, I what I would do is I will add some introduction in the beginning. So, when you have to speak for 2 minutes, you should have a lot of content in order to speak easily for 2 minutes. And you should only stop when the examiner says so. When the examiner doesn't stop you, you shouldn't stop. So, in order to extend your speech or make your speech or maybe you want to speak for 2 minutes, what you can do is try to add an introduction. So an introduction is basically a background to your story. So if I make the story about the crowded place, I can say that I am an introverted person and I don't really go outside. And but there was an instant when my favorite singer was coming to a mall and my sisters persuaded me that you should go, we will have fun. So at that moment, I decided to get out of my comfort zone and show up. What I did here is I just added some background to my story. So, what happens is that you know, you just use the first 20 second by explaining the background of your story. And in this way, you will be able to enlarge or lengthen your speech, your story. So after adding a background, you just start your story. It's like an essay. When we write an essay, what we do is we write an introduction, then we give a main body paragraph, and after main body paragraph, we write a conclusion. So in the main body paragraph, what you should do is you just start to explain what is the place where you go, or maybe where did you go, or what was happening there, how you went there. You can or maybe like I have given the example of a crowded place where the favorite singer was showing up. So I can say that I can just make a story now. We went on Saturday with I went on Saturday with my siblings. We and I can say, and when we went to the mall, there it was so crowded because the singer is so famous in the country that there was very less space left for the people. So we waited for 2 hours outside the mall, and one of my brothers persuaded us to leave, but my sister was like, no, we cannot go. So we started laughing. What we did is we just started singing the songs of the singer outside the mall, and we just made that moment enjoyable. So after 2 hours we were able to enter the mall, and it was very crowded. Look, what I'm doing here is I am just extending the story. Like I did, I said we waited outside for like an hours, and I explained what we did there. And when I went to the mall, I will explain what will happen there. And after stating the whole story, I will come to a conclusion. So a conclusion, or maybe you can show a reflection, what the story, how the story ends. Or maybe I can say it like this. Okay, I usually don't go to crowded places, but this was so refreshing, and I was able to get a picture with my favorite singer, and it was so fun. And now I'm thinking of going to crowded places more, and I will get out of my comfort zone and try to show up. In this way, I will be refreshed and feel happier. What I did here is I have added some reflection to my story, maybe the conclusion of the story, how the story ends. So if you, okay, ma'am, wait a minute. Okay, okay. Sorry, I got distracted. Where was I? I was telling you people that I was telling you how to make a story. So when you are not familiar with the topic and you have to explain a story or make up a story, or maybe you have to lie, what you should do is try to give an introduction to your story. Then introduction can be anything, or if it's an experience, you can add a background to your story, and after stating the background, move towards the main idea, where you went, how it happened, or maybe how things went. And when you explain the whole story, in the end, try to add reflection or a conclusion to your story. So it goes like this: um, an introduction, then the whole story, and then a proper conclusion. Do not end your story abruptly or maybe suddenly, because it doesn't leave a good impression on the examiner. Try to complete your story in a better way, which has an introduction, a main body paragraph, and a conclusion. In this way, you will be able to make a really good impression on the examiner, because this is where examiner really knows whether you can speak at length with fluency, less hesitation, or you can speak with fluency, and you can clearly demonstrate your ideas flow in a order, in a coherent way, and you're not going off topic. Okay, one thing I would like to say here is, do not add a bigger background. I mean to say this, meaning you shouldn't extend your background. Like when I was telling you people about I'm an introverted person and all, do not extend it more than 20 seconds. Because if you give a background of like 40 seconds, you just give the examiner the idea that you don't know anything about topic, and you're just rambling. Rambling means you're going off topic. You're saying things which the examiner doesn't want to hear, or maybe that is not the question. So try to just add an introduction, but it shouldn't be too long that it looks that you are not familiar with the topic or you don't know anything about a topic. So it's just an introduction. It should be very small, like it is in your essays, and it should take only 20 seconds of your story. Likewise, when you're giving a conclusion, it should be it should be around 15 to 20 seconds long, no longer than that. Do not extend your conclusion and introduction. They are there to just make your story look better, to extend your story to some extent, but they are not the actual story. Although they make your story look coherent or fluent, but and they shape your story, but they are not the main story. So do not extend them more than 20 minutes. So once you add an introduction, a main body paragraph, and a conclusion, it looks a flawless story. So if you come across this kind of situation in the real exam, try to make a story and I want to add one thing here. Try to rehearse this. I mean, try to make the story about the topics you're not familiar with and record yourself. Maybe talk to a friend, maybe come here and take a test. I will tell you and encourage you people to share your stories. Or maybe, like, right now, if you give a mock test and just share a story, make a story right now, what will happen is you will get less hesitant, and therefore you will be able to speak at length. And I will tell you, and I will guide you how you can make it a better way. Or maybe I can tell you whether your introduction was longer or not, maybe your conclusion was short or long, or whether you gave the conclusion or not. So you can talk to a friend, or record yourself, or come here and give a mock test. Try any of these things, but practice. If you practice it, then you will be able to do it in the actual exam. You cannot make a story in the actual exam like this if you're not used to making a story right now. So this is the time to act and try to make a story right now. Okay, so if anybody is willing to take a mock test, please raise your hand. Anybody? Or if you have any question regarding to the storytelling or anything regarding to speaking, you can ask here. Nobody is willing to take a mock test. We still have like 20 minutes left. This mock test is going to be about part 2. And yeah, ma'am Sumbal, you raise your hand. Are you willing to take a mock test for part 2?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Okay, let me just open the website. Okay, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Just give me a second to grab a pen so I can write your feedback.
Ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
did you give me a mock test or should I speak on any topic?
No, no, no. I'm going to give you just a minute.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Well, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Ma'am,
Okay.
yes.
So I'm gonna ask you the cue card question. So the question is, um, say something you're proud of achieving. You should say what it is, when it happened, what you did, why you felt proud. Do you want me to repeat the question?
Wait, give me a minute, ma'am. Ma'am, what was the last point? Why I felt
Why
proud?
you felt proud? So
Okay.
you're going to say something you're proud of. Maybe
Okay.
you achieved something and you're proud of, and you should say what it is, when it happened, how you did, and why
Okay.
you felt proud.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, So I can start making note, or you can
Yeah, yeah,
start
please
it.
start making now.
Okay, 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 ma'am.
Your time's up.
Okay, ma'am.
Stumble, your time's up.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Uh, the thing on which I really proud of achieving, that was my result that I got, and I got A grade. And it happened around 2 years ago when I was in my university, and one day my teacher gave us an assignment, and he even said that we should complete it in a short time period. So I was very worried that how can I complete it in short time, because I had no idea of that topic, and I never heard anything about that topic at that time. So and my teacher also said that the assignment marks will also included in the final result. So it was mandatory to complete it. So I had no option to left it. So I decided to took help from my friend and from that teacher. So unfortunately, they both helped me out, and I also worked very hard on completing that assignment. I remembered I worked uh, day and night on completing that task, uh, because it was a very difficult topic for me. So I had put a lot of effort on it. Uh, and fortunately, I completed it within a time, and I sent it to my teacher, um, and I got a grade on it. So that is why I felt very proud of it, because mm, uh, I my hard work paid off to me. And from that task, I also learned a lot. Like I learned about the time management, and I also learned about that specific topic, and now I never forget about that topic. So it was a very big achievement for me, because it happened to me for the very first time that I got very short time constraint, and I had to complete it in the short time. Okay, ma'am,
Okay.
that's all.
All right. So you did really well. That was so good. You completed 2 minutes, not that. You were like 2 minutes and 47 seconds. You spoke really well. You spoke at length, and it wasn't like you were just trying to stretch or extend your idea. It felt very smoothly. In the beginning, you gave some introduction, and then you just started your story with the main idea, how you did. And yeah, your story had a conclusion, and there was a reflection what you learned from the story, or what is the lesson of the story, which is so good. Well done, you did really good job.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your
Ma'am.
pronunciation was so good. I could understand each and every word you said, and there was I didn't find any filler words arms, but there were little ahs which will go with time. Yeah. This hesitation will go with time and practice. And yeah, there were very minor grammar mistakes, and that usually happens when they are getting very less. I would say you if I compare the the answers that you gave earlier, this was one of the best. And yeah, there were very few minor grammar mistakes that I would say very few. Okay. And would you like me to tell you those
Yes,
grammar
yes,
mistakes?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Okay, so there was an instance when you said will also include will also included, where you had to say will also include, or maybe the other way. And there was an instant when you said decided to took help, where you had to say decided to take help. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
once you said I remembered remembered. So you had to say, I remember. You're just recalling something that happened in the past. So
Mhm.
you should say, I remember this and this happened in this and this way. So say the remember in present tense, because you are stating the story right now, although it is about past. But the word remember here is using to state it right now at the present moment. The next thing I noticed was an article mistake where you said within our time, and you had to say within time, because when we say within time we don't use any article here, or the or an. So do not put an article here. I guess that mistake was only because of hesitation, or maybe you were a little nervous. And I think if you practice it daily, it will go away.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
That's all from my side. If you have any question, you can ask.
No, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you
No
so much.
worries. Is there anybody else who is willing to take a mock test? Anybody?
Assalamualaikum, ma'am.
Ji walaikum salam. Sir, are you willing to take the mock test? You're not audible.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Can you speak in a more better way? Maybe your sound is very, I would say, I can't hear you in a better way.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask you questions from part two. Are you ready?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So the question is, you should describe an outdoor activity. You should say what it is, when you do it, how you do it, why you like it. I can repeat the question if you want.
Yes, please repeat it.
You want me to repeat the question?
Ma'am, please. Can you hear me? Hello.
Okay, I'm repeating the question because I guess you didn't understand the question. The question is an outdoor activity. You are going to describe an outdoor activity. You should say what it is, when you do it, how you do it, why you like it. I hope you understood the question.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
try to speak again. Maybe the issue has resolved or not. Let's see.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Did you understand the question, sir?
Yes, sir. Can you repeat that again? Sorry. I
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
just
Sure, I
fixing.
can repeat the question.
Sorry.
Okay. The question is describe an outdoor activity. You should say what it is, when you do it, how you do it, why you like it.
So I have 1 minute, right?
Yeah. If you understood the question, I will
Yes.
start the stopwatch and you
Yes.
will just write your ideas for a minute. Have you understood the question?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, I have started the stopwatch. Your time's up. Are you there?
So, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible and please start speaking now.
The activity I like most is doing the daily checkups and maintenance, and doing the detailing of my car. When I'm free, in my free time, I just went out with my toolbox. Uh, I have a toolbox, a bag with all the necessary tools for the car. For maintaining. I just carried that on my shoulder, and I just went outside to my car, and I just do the daily checkups. If something is not working, I just try to fix that, and something I want something better in my car, so I just do that when I'm free. So actually,
Sir,
that's
I'm sorry I'm interrupting you. I don't know what's wrong with the mic. Your sound is not audible properly. It's getting faint or sometimes it gets louder. So try to change your network or maybe change your location.
I think that's my headphone issue. The mic is rotatable, so I think it's broke down when I rotate it down.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe can we do some other time?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Sorry for that.
No, no worries. It's okay. Okay, Ma'am Javeria, are you there? Please turn off this meeting or Ma'am Javeria.
Ma'am Kisra, I want
Mm-hmm.
to practice with you daily. Can you give me some time for? Uh, I also take your as you if you want.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Why
Uh,
not?
okay, so
You just texted me on Slack.
okay,
Yeah,
ma'am. Okay, sure.
and then we'll catch up.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Allah Hafiz, done.
Allah Hafiz.
Ma'am President, I am going to end the meeting then.
Yeah, please इसको end कर दें.
Okay. तुम end कर रही हो? तुम क्या end कर रही हो? अल्लाह हाफिज मैम फिजा.
Allah Hafiz.